So this is your feed roller for your MIG function and your flux core. This is your carrier for your wire. So pretty simple there. But I want to point this out. When you look at this polarity connection, let's get that out of the way. There's a polarity connection here. You've got a positive all the way to the right, and it says gas and gasless, and it has a negative over here. So whenever you're making your connections, in this case the MIG is showing connecting to the positive. So you'll be all the way just as it is right now. That's how it's set up with the strap. But if you were doing flux core, it tells you to take this loose and put it over here onto the negative. These other ones, I don't think it matters. It doesn't necessarily show it connected to either side, and I don't think it's going to make any difference. I'm not saying you need to remove those, remove the strap. That wouldn't make any sense. But these two are the only ones that indicate that they matter. The MP200 mounted on the welding cart. I want to show you what we're going to do on the inside here. Now this again is your polarity, where you can change that based on what you're going to be doing. I'm going to leave it set up on positive. It even says right here gas. This goes to positive. Gasless. This goes to negative. So this is for your MIG and flux core operation. This knob is a tensioner. You can rotate this and it lets the roller wheel come up, and you can rotate it back up and it locks it down onto the wire once you feed it in. So this increases tension on this wheel to put pressure on the wire so that it feeds. So maybe here you can see it a little bit better. There's the wheel, and it comes down and sits on top of the wire. Now here, I'm going to put this up and out of the way for a second. This is your feed roller. There is a knob here. You can remove that knob and remove your guide roller. Now this has a 0.9 on one side, that is for 0.035 wire, and 0.8 on the other side, that is for your 0.030 wire. Now in the kit you'll have two of these. One is smooth, has smooth grooves in it, and the other one has serrations in it. This would normally, from my understanding, be used to feed the flux core, just so you know. So just line up the little groove with the post on the shaft and put the knob back on. Now this is your carrier for your wire. What I've noticed, this one is different than the previous version that I've seen because it has this removable collar. That makes it a little easier to get the wire on there. There's also a post back here. So what that's for is this hole on your wire carrier to line up on that post. The reason for that is it creates tension. This can be adjusted. There's a nut here. You can move this in and out. There's a spring on this, and this just doesn't spin freely. You don't want the wire to just spin freely. You want it to have some resistance. So I will put this onto the carrier, and you can see this is some wire that I've had, so I have to cut the end of this off because it's bent. So we'll get that out of the way. And hold on to that wire. So get that on, and I'm going to line that up on that post. Okay. Put the collar back on, and this collar has reverse threads on it, so you have to turn it counterclockwise to attach it. Now you'll take your wire, feed it into this little guide liner right here. It'll go forward. You have to put it into the hole for your MIG. So this takes a little bit of practice. So this can be a little bit of a challenge based on how much the wire wants to cooperate with you. So I'm going to try to feed this in with a screwdriver and get it into that guide for the gun. And it makes it a little bit more of a challenge whenever you're trying to film this. But there it goes. Feeds in. Then you will put the upper roller down and secure the tensioner. So that is how you set it up for the MIG operation. Now if you were using flux core, you would have to swap this over to the negative, and keep in mind you don't use any gas for flux core. Just waste of material. One more thing I want to point out before we move on. You don't have to use a big spool of wire. This will handle the big spool or a small spool. You just have to remove this nut, washer, and spring. The carrier assembly comes off. You install this, replace the hardware, and you're ready to go.